For a long time, Linda Kozlowski chose quiet over headlines. While her name remained forever linked to one of the most beloved romantic adventure films of the 1980s, her personal life unfolded largely away from public view. When news of her divorce from Paul Hogan became public, speculation filled the gap she refused to address. Fans wondered what had really happened between the on-screen couple who once seemed inseparable. Now, years later, Linda's story is finally being understood not as a scandal, but as a thoughtful act of self-preservation. Her silence was never about secrecy or avoidance. It was about protecting her sense of self during a deeply personal transition. Behind the headlines was a woman carefully stepping out of a life shaped by expectations and into one guided by choice, clarity, and emotional honesty. A foundation built long before fame. Linda Kozlowski was born on January 7, 1958, in Fairfield, Connecticut, into a close-knit Polish-American family that valued discipline, education, and cultural pride. From an early age, she showed a natural connection to storytelling, finding confidence on stage through school plays and local theater. Unlike many actors whose careers began with chance, Linda's path was deliberate. She earned admission to the prestigious Juilliard School in New York City, where she trained rigorously in classical performance. Those years shaped not only her technical skill, but her respect for craft and emotional truth. Juilliard instilled in her a seriousness about acting that never faded, even when Hollywood later offered fame without depth. Long before the spotlight found her, Linda had already built an identity rooted in discipline, independence, and a strong inner compass. Crocodile Dundee and sudden stardom. Linda's life changed dramatically in 1986 when she was cast as Sue Charlton in Crocodile Dundee. The film's unexpected global success turned her into an international star almost overnight. Audiences were drawn to her portrayal of a smart, confident journalist who matched her rugged co-star beat for beat. Her chemistry with Paul Hogan felt effortless and authentic, helping the film become a cultural phenomenon. With box office success came visibility, pressure, and constant attention. While the role earned her widespread admiration and industry recognition, it also locked her into a public image that would follow her for decades. Sue Charlton became iconic, but the speed of fame left little room for adjustment. Linda suddenly found herself navigating not just a career, but a public narrative she did not fully control. When fiction became reality, as often happens in Hollywood, the on-screen romance between Linda Kozlowski and Paul Hogan gradually became real. Their relationship fascinated fans who wanted the fairy tale to continue beyond the credits. After Hogan finalized the end of his previous marriage, the couple wed in 1990, becoming one of the era's most recognizable celebrity pairings. Their partnership blended personal life and professional collaboration, especially through the Crocodile Dundee sequels. While the relationship was genuine and loving, it also existed under constant public scrutiny. Linda later reflected that it was difficult to separate who she was from how she was perceived. The expectations placed on them as a couple were enormous, and over time, those expectations quietly shaped the contours of their private life. Stepping away from Hollywood. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Linda Kozlowski began reassessing her place in the film industry. Though she continued to work, she felt increasingly disconnected from the types of roles being offered. Many lacked depth, intention, or respect for her training. Rather than compromise her standards, she chose to step back. This decision was not driven by failure, but by self-awareness. Linda recognized that success without fulfillment was not success at all. At the same time, her priorities were shifting toward family, health, and personal growth. Walking away from acting was not a retreat. It was an act of agency. She left Hollywood on her own terms, long before the industry could define her relevance. A marriage that quietly changed behind closed doors. Linda and Paul Hogan's marriage evolved as both individuals grew in different directions. Their lives had been intertwined for decades, but time revealed differences in pace, priorities, and personal fulfillment. Linda has since shared that the change was gradual, not explosive. There was no single breaking point, but rather a growing realization that the relationship no longer supported who she was becoming. Remaining silent during this period was intentional. She did not want public opinion to dictate a deeply private decision. When she filed for divorce in 2013, it was done respectfully and without spectacle. The separation was amicable, rooted in mutual understanding rather than conflict. Ending a long marriage, especially one lived in public view, required courage, restraint, and emotional clarity. Breaking the silence with honesty. Years after the divorce was finalized, Linda Kozlowski finally chose to speak openly, not to revisit pain, but to offer truth. She explained that leaving the marriage was about reclaiming her identity rather than rejecting her past. For a long time, she felt she had been living inside a story written by circumstance rather than intention. The divorce, she said, was transformative. It forced her to listen to herself again. Linda also addressed the assumptions that followed her silence, clarifying that her choice was never about money, fame, or resentment. It was about growth. Speaking out allowed her to redefine the narrative on her own terms, replacing speculation with perspective and judgment with understanding. Reinvention. Far from the spotlight. After her divorce, Linda's life took an unexpected and deeply fulfilling turn. While traveling in Morocco, she discovered a sense of belonging that surprised her. There, she met Moulay Hafid Baba, a local guide and entrepreneur who shared her love of culture, history, and meaningful connection. Together, they co-founded a bespoke luxury travel company focused on authentic Moroccan experiences. The work allowed Linda to channel her storytelling instincts into a new form, crafting journeys instead of performances. Living in Marrakesh offered her peace, rhythm, and purpose. Far from Hollywood, she built a life grounded in curiosity, partnership, and intention, proving reinvention has no expiration date. Redefining success and fulfillment today, Linda Kozlowski defines success very differently than she once did. Her greatest pride is raising her son, Chance, and building a life aligned with her values. Her days are filled with simple pleasures, morning walks, meaningful work, creative planning, and time spent with people she loves. She speaks openly about the importance of listening to one's inner voice, especially when life demands change. Hollywood taught her discipline, but stepping away taught her freedom. She no longer measures achievement by visibility or applause, but by peace, health, and authenticity. In choosing a quieter, richer life, Linda found something far more enduring than fame. A story of choice, not scandal. Linda Kozlowski's journey is not a story of loss, but of conscious transformation. Her divorce was never about failure. It was about courage, self-respect, and growth. By breaking her silence, she reframed a chapter that had long been misunderstood, reminding others that walking away can sometimes be the most powerful step forward. From Juilliard to Hollywood, from global fame to Moroccan sunsets, her life reflects resilience and reinvention. Linda Kozlowski did not disappear. She simply chose herself. And in doing so, she offered a quiet but powerful message. Happiness is not found in staying visible, but in staying true.